Welcome to Real Estate Explained. I'm Nick Bush, a Fredericksburg area realtor, and this podcast is focused on helping you make smarter real estate decisions right here in Fredericksburg, Virginia. Each week, we break down what's actually happening in the local market, talk about what it's like to live here, and answer the real questions buyers and sellers are asking so you can approach real estate with clarity instead of guesswork. Let's get into it. Over the last few weeks, working with buyers and sellers here in the Fredericksburg market, I've noticed a few patterns. And these patterns are important because they're the difference between people who are having success right now and people who feel stuck, frustrated, or unsure about what to do next. The market is not broken, it's not impossible, but it is different than when people expect it. And when expectations don't match reality, that's when mistakes happen. So today, I want to walk through what I'm seeing right now on the ground in real time. I want to tell you what buyers are getting wrong. I'm going to tell you what sellers are getting wrong and what's actually working in today's market. So first, let's start with buyers. The first mistake I see buyers making right now is waiting for the perfect moment. A lot of buyers are sitting on the sidelines, waiting for the interest rates to drop, waiting for prices to adjust, or waiting for some kind of signal that now is the right time to buy. And understand that buying a home is a big decision, but the reality is the perfect moment rarely shows up. And when it does, it usually doesn't last very long. Because the moment things feel easy, more buyers jump back in the market. And that creates competition again. So instead of focusing on timing the market perfectly, buyers should be focused on being prepared. The second mistake I see buyers making is not getting fully prepared before they start looking at home. That includes not being pre-approved, not understanding their true budget, and not having clarity around what they actually want. When you walk into a home without preparation, you're unsure if you can afford it, you're unsure if you should move forward, and in many cases, that hesitation causes buyers to miss opportunities. The third mistake I see buyers making is overanalyzing every single decision. Now, you should absolutely think through your decisions carefully, but there's a difference between being thoughtful and being stuck. When a buyer has done the work up front, understands their numbers, and knows what they're looking for, it becomes much easier to move forward with confidence. Now let's talk about sellers. The first mistake I see sellers making is overpricing their homes. And this is one of the biggest ones. A lot of sellers are still anchored to what they saw in 2021 and 2022. They remember homes selling in a week. They remember multiple offers. And they assume the same thing will happen today. But the market's shifted. Buyers are more selective. They're comparing more options. And they're much more sensitive to price. When a home is priced too high, even slightly, it creates hesitation. And hesitation leads to fewer showings. Fewer showings leads to less interest, and that's how homes start to sit. The second mistake sellers are making is not preparing their homes properly. This includes things like not painting, not decluttering, not making small updates. There's a mindset of the buyer will just come in and change everything anyway, but buyers don't think about it that way. Buyers want something that feels ready. They want something that they can move into and enjoy. Even small improvements can make a big difference in how a home is perceived. The third mistake I see sellers making is making their homes difficult to show. And I hate this one, especially in this market. And this is something that doesn't get talked about enough. When showing instructions are unclear, when approvals take too long, or when showing windows are very limited, buyers move on. Buyers often look at multiple homes in one day. If your home is difficult to access, it might not even make it onto their schedule. And every missed showing is a missed opportunity. Now let's talk about what's actually working, because there are people succeeding in this market. And the difference is how they're approaching it. For buyers, what's working is preparation. Buyers who are pre-approved, buyers who understand their budget, buyers who know what they're looking for, those buyers are able to move forward confidently when the right opportunity appears. For sellers, what's working is strategy. Sellers who price their homes correctly, right from the beginning, sellers who take time to prepare their homes, and sellers who make their home easy to show, those sellers are still seeing strong results. The market is rewarding people who are intentional, not reactive, not guessing. Not waiting for perfect conditions, but people who are prepared and making decisions with clarity. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this episode, it's this. This market rewards preparation. This market rewards being intentional, and it doesn't reward not being prepared. If you're a buyer, that means understanding your numbers, getting pre-approved, and knowing what you want. If you're a seller, that means preparing your home, pricing it correctly, and making it accessible to buyers. When those things are in place, the process becomes much smoother. The Fredericksburg market is still active. Homes are still selling, buyers are still buying, but the way people succeed in this market has changed. If you're buying, selling, or just trying to understand what makes sense for you in the Fredericksburg market, you can reach out anytime. You can email me at nick@thekobecompany.com, message me on Instagram at nickbush_the-realtor, or find resources and tools at thekobecompany.com. Thanks for tuning in to Real Estate Explained Fredericksburg. I'll see you in the next episode.